It looked good. It's a good start. Everything's positive, but I'm not as sold with the way that looks as compared to Fields or Mac Jones. I have more confidence in their real ability than Tua at this point. I'm sorry.
I'm about to show you 3 definitive examples involving 6 or 7 sports journalists that prove beyond a reasonable doubt that sports journos simply make shit up when it comes to talking about Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins, especially when they get on their high horse to denigrate Tua Tagovailoa. It really is Twilight Zone stuff. It's unbelievable. It makes no sense whatsoever, and they just spew it with relative ease. People often ask me in comments why I even bother to feature these morons. I have to tell you that the reason is really simple. I'm just tired of these people. I'm sick and tired of these people doing nothing but talking down a really good kid and a really good player. Someone has to expose these fraudsters for what they really are. They can't be allowed to just sit there and spew pablum and venom with nobody calling them out. What's really odd and somewhat funny to me is the amount of YouTube channels out there that just ignore what these guys say. I don't know if they're hoping to get in with the crowd or get a job on ESPN later on, but I don't see many YouTubers taking the time to critique these morons and actually tell you how bad it really is in the sports journalism world. I'm not sure why, but I'll gladly do it. Personally, I'm sick of the hot take culture in sports media. These guys and women on these networks aren't all knowing. You can tell by how much they get wrong. You have to realize, and I've said it before, they are merely actors playing a role on TV. It's classic theater. Every play has an antagonist and a protagonist, and they use that on your shows. It's good cop, bad cop, but in relation to sports. I could go on, but let's get to these segments so you can see for yourself what I'm talking about. When you hear this, you'll smell the bullshit. Seriously, I'll stop the tape between some of these segments, and I want you to tell me if what they're saying makes any sense whatsoever. And as always, as you watch this, remember, these guys are getting paid to say this stuff. Good gig if you can get it. It's so bad, it becomes relatively obvious that they're faking this for the sake of ratings.
The only thing that worries me here is why are the Dolphins favored? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Watching those two teams practice, it's still pretty clear to me one is breaking in a brand new head coach and one isn't. And I know it's not like Sirianni's been there a long time, but it just looked cleaner, crisper. Things are still a little bit new. There's still some growing pains, I think, for the Dolphins team. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Eagles as well. I'm just perplexed as how the number is where it is. It just seems like a little too easy, but I'll go ahead and take the Eagles.
So Danny Kanell wanted to take the Eagles big over the Miami Dolphins. He couldn't even understand how the Dolphins were favored, even though it was a preseason game. That shows you, after a 48-10 blowout, that this guy has no more clue about what's going on than anybody else. No clue. But instead of being unusual, it seems to be par for the course. They're just out there spewing. He actually went to the practices. He saw what was going on, and he said Miami had no chance of winning. How could that be? I don't know. All right, let's go on to the next one. One of my favorites, Chris Sims and Mike Florio.
Miami Dolphins quarterback had a big play on Saturday night, although it would have been a bigger play if the ball had been delivered on target, and he admitted it himself after the game.
Florio couldn't help himself. He couldn't just say Tua had a good game. He singled out one play, and then he said, oh, it could have been better. Tua sucks. He underthrew Tyreek. Do these people not realize what they're saying? Do they not realize how many times Patrick Mahomes underthrew Tyreek Hill? The guy runs a 4.2. He blew past both defenders. Tua launched the ball before he really even got to where he was going. He threw the ball so Tyreek could go find it. These people are nuts.
I still am not going to sit here and go, oh, I'm just absolutely sold. You know, I mean, again, I like it, but I'm going to give it like a 6.5, maybe. I'm going to say 6.5 because of, I think again, you know, some of that's game plan plays, the boots, people wide open. I know he can do that. I'm not worried about that. It's not that. It's again, when I'm playing when I'm not playing second and third stringers on Philadelphia and I'm playing the starters and where the pocket's collapsing. Can I throw the ball 15-yard out route, into a tight window with those are the things I want to see more.
I don't know what's wrong with Miss Sims. Miss Sims seems to have a problem with Tua personally. Newsflash. Whether or not it's the first string, second string, third string high school players, if somebody can make the throw, they can make the throw. Tua threw a couple 15-yard outs. I think one of them was like a 30-yard out to Tyreek. I'm not sure what game he watched, but if the man can physically make the throw, which he has proven through preseason, in camp, in the games, if he can make the throw, how do you not know if he can make it? So what you're actually saying is you don't know if he can complete it against a first-string defense, but he can make the throw. So if he can make the throw, then it's just a matter of the read and whether or not the wide receiver sells the route. You see what I'm saying? When you listen to them, they don't seem to make any sense whatsoever.
It looked good. It's a good start. Everything's positive, but I'm not as sold with the way that looks as compared to Fields or Mac Jones. I have more confidence in their real ability than Tua at this point. I'm sorry.
Mac Jones, who threw a completion to the other team with 6 guys surrounding his wide receiver. Look at this. I want you to look at this interception that Mac Jones threw against the Raiders. Who was open here? Who in this pattern was open other than the guys in the black shirts? There are 6 guys around this one receiver. The guy that Miss Sims just decided he wanted to put as better than Tua just threw a ball in the midst of 6 defenders. Again, when you look at this stuff and you listen to what they say, they can't possibly mean it. They're just out there just saying it for ratings, and his ratings aren't that good.
And with Fields, it was the lack of help around him. With Jones, it was the lingering questions about the coaching transition.
Wait a second. With Justin Fields, it was about the lack of help, not Tua. Tua had all the help he needed a couple years ago, right? Nah. And then with Mac Jones, it's about, hey, listen, we don't know what's going on with the coaching situation. But Tua had a real stable coaching situation with, Brian Flores and the rest of those idiots. Man, either they forget or they're actually lying to you. I'm going to say they're lying to you.
If they can continue to have, the window dressing and the illusion of complexity and dressing plays up, then yes, he can wheel and deal and do all that.
So let me get this right. It's all an illusion. Mike McDaniel isn't a good coach. He's a magician. He's David Copperfield. He's just making this stuff up. He's putting spells on people. It's all an illusion. It's magic. You want to know what's magic and what's an illusion? That you guys even are on television. Miss Sims, what are you talking about? Now we're going to look at a couple clips from Get Up on ESPN, and these are just as bad.
As we watch Tua, we just saw that long throw there to Tyreek. And I will admit, and maybe this is just the way we've become conditioned to think. My first thought was,
don't do it.
That ball's underthrown.
Yeah.
My first thought is that ball is underthrown.
It's
he has to stop running to catch it.
Brutal, man.
What? It's underthrown.
Right.
Okay, not everybody can throw it.
He should throw the ball as far as he can and have
that ball
Tyreek
goes 55 yards in the air.
And if it's 57, it's a touchdown.
He actually said that. Mike Tannenbaum, who got fired from the Miami Dolphins, actually just said that. If it was 57, it would have been a touchdown. Wow. Let me ask you a question. Do you know how many throws in the NFL season last year were beyond 50 yards? I want you to go look up that statistic. I'm not going to tell you. I want you to go find out how many throws plus 50 yards were even made in the NFL season last year. You're going to be really surprised. Mike Tannenbaum is an idiot. That's not surprising. But I wonder, as I've said, are these guys playing roles, just making this shit up as they go? Because what he just said made absolutely no sense whatsoever. There's not a coach out there that would look at a 55-plus yard play and go, you know what? I wish we could have had a 57-yarder. No coach. Not going to happen. Every single coach I've ever met takes a 55-yard play as a 55-yard play and moves on to the next one.
There's still a big question mark about Tua. Can he get the ball down the field consistently?
You guys are talking like the throw went 30 yards and died. It went 55.
No, but Dan, the comparisons to Mahomes are going to be inevitable because that's who Tyreek left. So people are not just comparing him randomly to the best quarterback in football. They're comparing him to the guy who used to throw that pass.
But that's their fault. That's their problem. I'm not going to compare him to Patrick Mahomes because he's not the same guy. And that's unfair to the quarterback.
Dan Orlovsky is 100% correct. Why are they comparing Tua Tagovailoa to Patrick Mahomes? Why aren't they comparing Tua Tagovailoa to Tua Tagovailoa? This is a different man, a different quarterback with different skill set. And the idea that Mike McDaniel is going to morph him into Patrick Mahomes is completely idiotic. He's using this quarterback for his system and maximizing the play that Tua can do within this system. I don't care if Tua throws 150 yards per game if the Dolphins win. I don't care if his longest throw is 25 yards and the Dolphins win. The bottom line is winning, not length of passes.
What we're all watching now is if that player can be what he was drafted to be, then this could be a maybe championship level team is going a step too far.
Why is that thought a step too far? Why is it even not comprehensible that the Miami Dolphins could be a championship team? How can you sit there at this point in the season and say it's incomprehensible, it's a thought too far? We can't even consider that the Miami Dolphins could be a championship team. Are you kidding me?
The difference between winning and losing, and again, you go back to Kansas City, Buffalo, Chargers, and Cincinnati. Can they score consistently with that group? And that's the big question mark is.
So now it's not the length of the pass. It's whether they can score consistently. Mike, you got to make up your mind here. So now it is just about scoring consistently. Well, let's see. We got a top flight kicker. I watched it. The guy can boom the ball. Scoring. We've got a good wide receiver. No, we have probably the fastest wide receiver group in the league. They get the ball, they're going to score. We've got one of the best defenses in the league to stop others from scoring. We don't have to score 40, 45 points a game. That's not needed. So if it's about wins, not about the length of a pass, if it's about wins, yeah, then I think we need to be talking about the Miami Dolphins as a championship caliber team.
For them to get to where they want to go, they got to beat Josh Allen. He has to stand toe-to-toe and beat Buffalo, which he's going to have an opportunity to do early this season.
Remember that guy, Mike Tannenbaum, was a general manager. This is a guy who just now said that Tua has to stand toe-to-toe with Josh Allen. As far as I know, there are 44 guys that are going to be standing toe-to-toe, maybe even more than 44. You got 11 on offense, 11 on defense times 2. That's where I came up with the 44. It is not about Josh Allen and Tua out there like gunslingers dueling it out. It's about the team. It's about what can be done on defense, what can be done on offense, what can be done on special teams. It's an entire game. He just made it like, Tua and Josh Allen are going to go out there in a punt, pass, and kick routine and see who can get the most yardage on a throw. Whenever they talk about Tua and the Miami Dolphins, they reduce it to length of pass. They haven't even talked about the offense and what Mike McDaniel can do, except for Miss Sims, who said it was an illusion, it was magic. These guys don't want Miami to win. They don't want Tua to be successful. You know why? Because right now it's almost September and there's 4 or 5 months to go, and they would love to keep talking about Tua. You know why that is? Because all of their videos and all of their segments, when they talk about Tua Tagovailoa, are the maxed out segments on the network. You can check their YouTube channels. Every time they post about Tua, even negatively, it's usually the most watched video on their channel. That's just a few of the rantings that I came across this weekend. But the one thing we know for certain, it's not going to stop. There will be more. There always is in regards to Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins. And I'll be here to keep calling them out. If you like this video, you might like a lot of my other videos on the Miami Dolphins. Here's a couple right here for you to check out. Thanks for watching. Fins up. And I'm going to go hunting for some more sports journal crap. Talk to you soon.